out of order, but okay.
So good morning, City Council. So how you saw on your agenda with the resignation of Councilwoman Heighter, what we're looking today is a direction to staff for some type of proposed procedure and timeline if you guys choose to appoint a member to the seat.
Okay, I guess, well, this discussion. So the first question, if I may, I would ask staff, is there an application already available for applicants to fill out and submit?
Yes, Mayor. The application is ready. We just need to know from City Council when you would like for us to release that application.
Well, the first question would be, do City Council members have any question regarding the application itself? Councilwoman Pontieri?
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I think we're skipping a crucial step, which is to discuss whether or not we're going the appointment route, and if so, why, from a legal standpoint. I think that's imperative to kind of explain, particularly from a legal standpoint, if you could, Marcus.
Yeah. So, yeah, I can happily do that. So under the city charter, I believe it's Article 4E, where it says, if for any reason other than a recall or suing the office of mayor, a vacancy occurs in the office of city council within the first 2 years of a term, the office shall be filled by an appointment within 90 days following occurrence of such vacancy by a majority vote of the remaining councils. If said vacancy occurs within 6 months of the next regular scheduled election, the remaining council members may delay the appointment. Such appointment shall last until the next regular scheduled election, at which time the seat shall be declared open and an election held for the remaining 2 years of the term. So right now, Councilwoman Heighter, she resigned with more than 2 years left on her term. So it is this position of my office that you as council have the position according to how the language is written in the city charter to appoint the next council person for that seat.
So if I understand your question becomes, are you looking for this city council to conduct this process, or perhaps extend it until the new council sits? Is that your question?
No,
Okay.
I think it's very clear that we have to appoint within
Okay.
90 days, which would be before the new council
Right.
is seated, if we choose to appoint. My question is, from a qualifying standpoint, if we were to go the election route, could candidates legally qualify, is number one. And number two, because I want this to be a democratic process if possible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that that's possible, which is why I'm looking to legal opinion for it. If it is possible, is it then practicable? And right. I think ballots have to be printed by what, September 6th?
Yes.
Okay. So in less than a week's time, what would be the qualifications or the requirements for candidates to be able to be named on the ballot?
So great question.
If I may just
Yes.
boil the question down. So what we're going to be considering here is, if there were to be an election, are we affording, is it a legit process? I mean,
Absolutely.
Is it so short a window? Is it fair? Does it give candidates a chance to present themselves so that the community can actually vote with some understanding and knowledge?
Well, more than that, Mayor, honestly, what my biggest concern is, because we know that if we go the election route, the candidates cannot qualify via petition because the petition process is already closed. So in other words, they would have to pay the fee in order to run. And I don't want our city council seat to be bought. So my concern is that if within the next 6 days, well, maybe a week or so, that we're giving somebody the opportunity to essentially, who lives in this district, so we have a limited pool of people to begin with there.
Or not, they could move into the district.
They could move into the district
Right.
in less than 3 months, so it's not very much time.
As a rental. Mhm.
Sure. But then to pay roughly $2,400 to qualify, and that's a concern of mine.
Is that the number, by the way?
I think it
That
is
seems,
10% of the salary?
It's 10% of the salary, which is.
and there's
30
two fees, right?
There, yes. So the 10% of the current salary is $3,249.07, and then there's a 1% assessment fee that's generally filed during a normal qualifying period, and that's $324.91 that goes to the state.
$3,500.
So $3,500 in about a week's time, I think that we would be severely limiting our pool of candidates. And I also feel that we're essentially selling a seat, and I'm not comfortable with that. So that's why I ask legal, am I incorrect in my assessment? Is there any way around that in order to make this an election without, is there an ability to push off the qualifying, or can they even legally qualify? I don't know, but I'm not comfortable saying we have a week to essentially have somebody pay $3,500.
And I want to agree with you on this 100%. I don't want to see anyone buying a seat.
Right.
I don't think there's enough time. We've all run campaigns. There's not enough time to, get on the ballot and start campaigning and make a decision to even do this, that this falls on this council to make this appointment. There's no doubt in my mind. I agree with your assessment, Marcus, that we need to do this. So I'm hoping we all agree on that and we can move forward and get this ball rolling. I would like to see us possibly put a time limit of 3 weeks or so on this from today forward to get people who apply, and then get them back here so we can make that decision. And most importantly, I think, is we need to get whoever that person is, and we don't even know who's going to apply yet, but whoever that person is we select, I'd like to get them on this council as quickly as possible, so they have some experience going into the next council, because 3 of us aren't going to be here, in case you guys didn't notice what happened on Tuesday. So I think it's important we get someone in here, not wait till December, but do it as quickly as possible so they can at least get their feet on the ground and have a taste of what's going on.
Let me restart my conversation. So do we have an application available that we've used in the past, and does city council okay with it? That's sort of like a first step.
We do have an application, yes, Mayor.
Have city council members had a chance to review it?
It is the same application that we used for the previous appointment where Mr. Finelli filled that seat, so there were no changes made to the application.
Does anyone have any issue with?
How quickly can you get that link posted on our website so anybody who wants to apply can download it, fill it out, and get it back?
So first, are you okay with the language in it? I just want to
I'm
make sure
fine
that.
with the language.
You are,
Yes.
okay. So we're all good with the content, other than the dates on the last application that was used. So now to Vice Mayor Danko's question about, well, this council will now decide a procedure, a process. So there's an application. So does somebody want to suggest a process?
How quickly can you get it up there on the website? So somebody, if we say, let's start today, can it be on there this afternoon?
Yes, we could do it this afternoon.
Okay.
Let's do, put it up there this afternoon. We give 30 days for submissions, and then the following business meeting or workshop that we get together, that we go over the qualified candidates, and then at the next business meeting after that, we appoint.
So let's just, good, so there's a process and a procedure suggested. I just want to be confident that you all feel that 3 days is a wide enough window.
At least a week. I wouldn't say 3
Well,
days.
I'm just asking.
I think
so-
that's a little short.
I
You
didn't,
said 30 days.
30 days, I'm sorry, yeah, yeah.
30 days.
I thought you
think.
said 3.
30 days, sorry about that.
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, I thought you said 3 days. I was like,
oh,
whoa.
no. That's more
You
rapid.
got somebody on the
Question.
inside you're running here?
Now, I have an opinion that 10 days is enough if for an applicant, for anyone that is really interested in following this. And I'm flexible, but help me understand what the extra 20 days accomplishes.
Really just a number off the top of my head for establishing a process. If we do 10 days, and then would you like to do a workshop where we have interviews before we have a business meeting for the appointment?
That was what I was thinking.
That's also very
That's
valid.
That's all in the open, that's all in the public. If a particular city council member would like to meet with an applicant on their own, that's their own business.
Sure.
Sunshine, yes.
Mayor, I have a suggestion, because I did look at the specific calendar of our meetings.
Yep.
So if we opened the application today, we could give 2 weeks to close on September 11th. And then we could do a special workshop on 9/17. That gives us all about a week to look at the applications. interview them the following week on 10/24, and then appoint on 11/1. And the reason I suggest that is because it gives the public ample opportunity, once the application process is closed, to come and make comment, because this is not because it's an appointment. Like I said, I want to make this as much of a democratic process as possible. So if we allow a couple meetings where the public can come and speak, then I think that that's the most prudent way to go. And I think that it accomplishes by 11/1 your suggestion, Vice Mayor, that we get
So
somebody
we
in
would
here.
actually seat them on 11/1.
Yeah, so I agree with your concept completely, because I think the one thing that has not been said yet is this appointment will be for, 2 years plus, 2 years plus, with an opportunity, in the plan I envision, of a chance to run.
Oh, absolutely.
Hold on, we have to run as an incumbent, which would also offer them a chance to run yet again if they were successful in the first run and the second. So potentially, this could be a 10-year seat. So the decision being made here is significant. Now, there are a lot of factors. It's not a 10-year seat, but it potentially could be. So I just want that made clear to everyone.
I think it's very.
Counselor, have I
important. Go
missed
ahead.
a step here? Is that the way you understand it?
So I'm just saying what you said. So yes, they would finish the 2-year term, and then they're allowed to run for another 4 years.
And the fact that they are filling out a special term does not accrue to term limits, is my understanding.
I would need a little more time to make sure I give a confident answer on that, but I believe that's correct, but
Okay.
I would need a little more research to confirm that.
So we're at either 6 or 10 years. I mean, it's a little bit far out in the future, but okay, so we understand the gravity of the
But I think
decision.
it's very important. Last time, we handicapped.
That's why I'm bringing it
the
up.
person
Right.
By saying, you take a pledge not to run, even though they could have broke that pledge. I think that we shouldn't do that. I think that, if you step up and you do this, you have every right to
Vice
run
Mayor,
again.
we concur. We have consensus on that.
All right.
So I do have an issue, Mayor, with meeting with the applicants not in the sunshine. And I would look to.
You mean personally, as an individual council member?
Yes. I do have an issue with that, only
Okay.
because I feel like there could be picking of candidates based on what we discuss with them as future policy
But
decisions.
can you prohibit such a thing?
I don't know, so I'd look to council for that.
I don't think we can, is the thing. And I'm
Then-
not a proponent of it. I'm against it, by the way.
So then my suggestion to council would be to avoid the appearance of impropriety, and let's try to keep things in the sunshine. That's just my position.
And mine.
I feel that it's one thing when you've got candidate, like right now, we have a few seats where there's a couple candidates that have made it past the primary. We're one vote out of several thousands. We don't know who will win those seats. So it's okay to meet with both of the people who made it through the primary. But in this instance, when we have a certain definite pool that we're going to have a significant impact on who takes this seat, I think, I would just say, move forward with caution.
I'm just concerned, though, that we're making up our own law. If sunshine applies, then it applies. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
I don't disagree with you.
And I don't want to sit here and make up our laws. If any council person, yourself, Mr. Kloufis, the mayor, had somebody that they know, that they think is qualified, that would serve on this council and do a great job, I think they have every right to speak to them, encourage them to apply.
Well, that's why I
we're not
asked.
giving away any state secrets here. If you attend the council meeting or watch it online, you see what we discuss. So I understand what you're saying, but I don't have those concerns.
Well, that's why I asked
Yeah.
legal counsel, is this a potential similar situation as to where, because a candidate-elect is a violation of sunshine. If you have a candidate-elect that we meet with, then it is a violation of sunshine. If we have a finite pool of applicants, is that a violation of sunshine? I don't know, and so I look to.
But is that any different
So
from?
we have a
just
precedent,
quick
we have a
question.
precedent from before, so it was not before.
But yes,
Was the
exactly.
question asked? Was it asked before?
But the question
Yeah,
is,
I think I did pose it, but it's good to ask council again. I don't have a problem with that.
just to be
Yeah.
clear, if you had 3 candidates running for an office in November, one of them is going to be elected, So you can't say sunshine applies to all of them because no one's been elected
Oh,
yet,
no, it
and no
does.
one's been appointed
No,
by
no,
us after they're elected.
So if we're talking about the election and the primary, my understanding is sunshine does apply.
What, a candidate talking to another candidate?
No, candidate-elect.
But none of those candidates running would be candidates-elect until they won the election. None of the candidates coming in front of us would be a
So
candidate.
I can only
elect.
share my instructions. My
Until-
instructions when I was elected were that once.
Elected?
No.
Elected,
No,
when you're
no, 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 no.
candidate-elect.
While I was in the, call it the primary pool.
Yeah.
That I could not, that I was covered by sunshine. So I just need an
I'm
opinion on
not
that.
sure on that.
I mean, does it really matter?
Not really if we abide, but Marcus, can you give us an answer on that? When does sunshine light up a candidate?
So I would say, without looking at case law,
Yeah.
sunshine usually applies when someone's the elect. But I can give you give me some time today to do a
Okay.
little more research, and I'll get you an
All right,
answer
so it's
before
not really an
CO.
issue then?
Once they're
Does
elected,
that,
candidate-elect.
Teresa, does that satisfy your question?
I would like the further legal.
I'll comment that I've been part of this process now at least 3 times. and-
Yes.
And each time that this has happened, we've had stellar candidates come forward. I think it's a little more advantageous for people who are upstanding in our community because they don't have to be put through the rigmarole of actually going out and becoming a candidate in that entire process, which is taxing on someone. We've seated Councilmember Finelli, Councilmember Lyons, Councilmember Cuff, and I even believe Councilmember Net. So potentially I've been part of 4 different assignments here, and I think that to give the public some rest, we've had tremendous candidates step up every time, and I don't expect this time to be any different.
I agree.
You excluded me from that pool.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, Mayor Alphen, yeah, sorry. Forgot about that.
Do you want to restate?
Mayor, can I confirm the schedule?
Yeah, that
Just-
would be good. Yeah,
okay.
that should come from you.
Just
Thank you.
trying to make sure I heard you correctly. So the application would be live this afternoon. We'll work to get it up once we've concluded your business meeting today, and it would be open until September 11th. There would be interviews on September 24th during a workshop, and appoint October 1st. Did I get that right?
I would suggest we do interviews during a special workshop on 9/17, just to give the public one more opportunity to voice opinions and to more, engage council.
How much time does it give you for the application
Because
process
then,
then?
it doesn't change the application process. It gives us a week from the date the application process closes to the interviews, which I think is enough time to
Okay.
look at the applications. And then we have another week of public comment and then a point on 11/1.
Okay, so have interviews on September 17th. That's a regularly scheduled business meeting, so we'll conclude a workshop following.
And open a special, yeah.
Okay, and then we would have a meeting on September
Is that a
24th.
morning, by the way, or an evening?
Morning meeting.
Morning, okay.
And then we would have a workshop on September 24th where the public would be able to voice opinions again, and then appoint on October
Right,
1st.
is there an evening session in the middle of this timeline?
October 1st, whenever you do your appointment, is an evening
The
meeting.
folks could appear in the evening if
give
they had
their-
comments to express, so you've got both day and evening covered.
We really need a special workshop on the 24th for this. Having been through this before, I don't think we do.
I think we do. This is too much of a big decision, and if we're going to do the interviews during a special workshop, it allows people to come just for that process. And again, I think that we need to give the public every opportunity to be present and be involved
So
in
when
this.
did you, Vice Mayor, what were you thinking?
I mean,
Make
I
it,
was
make it
thinking-
part of another meeting?
I was thinking we're going to have public comment before we appoint.
On what day?
On October 1st, I was thinking that was, where we hear from the public, that would be the most efficient, and actually, that would be right before we make a vote, so if anybody was going to present something to us, I think that would be the most influential from the public. I don't see the need for another workshop on just this item. It
I'm
just doesn't make
uncomfortable
any
with,
sense
I'm
unless.
uncomfortable with the comment on the same day as the vote, yeah.
Mayor, if I can, the reason also September 24th is during your last business meeting, you gave me direction to go back and put a schedule together for those additional workshops each month to help work through some of our bigger items.
So it fits the
that's-
schedule anyway.
Yes, Mayor.
Okay,
So we would be
So
having.
you're going to be here anyway.
We're going to be here anyway?
Yeah.
Okay, well, then I guess we could squeeze it in.
There you go.
But
Okay.
And I just want to, on the application, you're talking September 11th, end of business day? What would be the cutoff, 12 noon, end of business day,
Yes, we can do by 5 PM.
by 5 PM? Okay.
That'll give us enough time to make sure that the applications are in your agenda packet and public for your September 17th business meeting, or workshop, I'm
When
sorry.
you post the application, this entire timeline will preface the actual app, or be a part of the application offering online. Just help me, in what other ways will the application be available to potential applicants?
It'll be available online and in person at the clerk's office.
At the clerk's office, are there any other places or things that we should consider? No, that's what we've done in the past?
Correct, Mayor, that's what we've done in the past.
Now, in terms of making people aware that the process is going on, I would like to hear, how are you going to announce this? And because as Councilwoman Pontieri so rightly says, and with the idea that this could be a very long, standing seat, we should, I don't want to say spare no expense, but we should use all of our resources to let the entire community know that this process is going on. If we look at the results of the turnout of the primary, it should be a clue that we need to work harder to get people more involved. And if we want transparency, unfortunately, we have to shine the light a little brighter to get people to be aware that this is an important decision and they should follow it.
Understood, Mayor. We'll put together a communication strategy and use all of our
Okay,
outlets to
good.
get this out.
Do you have any input or comments on that? I think that's as
No,
far as we can go.
I think that's very important,
Yeah.
that we make sure we use all of our outlets to get the information out and to keep the public updated as to, hey, we have a meeting coming up, come speak on public comment regarding the seat that will be filled. It needs to be a constant over the next few months.
And the last question, it'll be up, will you include a map or make it clearer what the district geographical boundaries are? I mean, not everybody is fluent in each district's boundaries, and this one actually encompasses, a few different sections.
Yes, Mayor, we can make a link to that district map on the website.
Wonderful, very good. Okay, if there is no further, yes, sir.
Just based on what Councilwoman Pontieri did ask, based on my research on the case law right now, there is no sunshine law that prevents you to individually meet with the candidates.
Thank you for that.
If there's no further discussion by city council members, I would open up the discussion for public comment. And